One of the most urgent issues in Georgia when you've been arrested for DUI is preserving your right to drive. I know that public transportation is not great in Georgia. It's not very practical for almost all of my clients.
Public transportation stinks.
So we need to really look carefully and assess the situation as to your best route. This video should help you understand your options and how we evaluate the case and investigate the case to give you advice on defending your administrative license suspension. In order to preserve your right to drive, one of the most important things we need to assess in a hurry is your administrative license suspension. The officers, when you're arrested for DUI, are required to give you a 1205 form initiating a license suspension against you, and also allowing you the opportunity to appeal that and giving you something to drive on. So that's a very important piece of the puzzle. And just as a pointer, that 30-day deadline changed from a 10-day deadline in 2017.
It just keeps changing and changing and changing.
If you see a lawyer's website, and I get this question all the time about the 10-day deadline, you should run from them because that deadline changed 7 years ago, 8 years ago almost, coming up on July 1st. So as it relates to this question, we have two options on a case. And one option is to request the hearing with an ALS letter. And we have a new option in Georgia that just became a legal issue a couple years ago. That option is now to do an interlock device on your vehicle for a limited permit. So that is option 2 now as far as avoiding a full suspension of your driver's license. Now, as it relates to breath testing or blood testing, if you're above the legal limit, I have not seen a case yet where I recommended someone to do the interlock device because it just does not make sense. Now, there could be circumstances that change that opinion one day with a very specific case, but so far to date, in all of my cases, I've never seen any reason whatsoever to even consider it.
Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
Now, as it relates to a refusal case, that is one where we normally want to get hired as soon as possible to begin the discovery process. And what that means is, in order to make a decision on whether you're going to do the interlock device or write the appeal letter, we want to make that decision with our eyes wide open. And the more information we can get, the better we can advise you on what to do with your license suspension as far as the initial one that's been initiated through a 1205 form. And what we want to do is we want to look at the police officer's reasonableness. We want to look at the evidence to see about the timing of the implied consent, the reason for the stop, probable cause to make an arrest.
Probable cause needs to be readily apparent.
We also want to see if they read the implied consent warning in its entirety and properly. All of these are the legal issues that we would assess in helping determining your best route as far as an administrative license suspension letter or an interlock device on your vehicle. The other thing that is a concern in the administrative license suspension arena is that the 30-day deadline, even if it falls on a weekend, that is your deadline. So if we need to get something done before the weekend, that Friday or Saturday, depending on what the deadline is, could be the last day you can move and make something happen as far as your case goes. So this 30-day deadline is extremely important. Now, if you miss the 30-day deadline and your license is suspended, we can certainly advise you on what that means, time frame of getting your license back, and all of those things. If it's a refusal suspension, it is a 12-month hard suspension, and the only way to get the license back before the 12-month hard suspension is over is to either file a motion to reconsider based on some procedural problems with the 1205 form, or to win your case or get it reduced. If any of those things happen, we could get your license back before the 12 months is over.